Hey everyone, welcome to NFT Hype. We have Recourier on and Big Mike. Everybody, welcome us. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Recourier, so you're an Upland fan, are you? Tell us
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
about yourself and what you know about Upland.
So I've been in the crypto sphere for a little while, and then you know, being as the world has changed a lot this year, I was looking for a crypto-based game to check out, but a lot of the games that you find are basically like gambling games. You know, they're dressed up dice games or some kind of gambling game. So I was just looking for anything that wasn't a gambling game that was something I could do, and I found Upland, and I just kind of messed around with it a little bit at first as just a game, and then once I learned about what it was actually trying to do and what it was going to be and what the roadmap looked like, then I got really excited. So then I kind of jumped in with both feet. So I think I think most people don't necessarily see it for more than a game, and they don't see like what that is gonna build into once it grows itself out.
Mike,
I think the thing,
you're familiar with the game as well too, right?
yeah, I've been playing for probably a similar amount of time as Recourier, actually, like a couple months now.
And what
And
attracted you to it?
just, well, I mean, at first, like I got shilled on it by a buddy, and so I had to check it out. And I mean, the UIX is just unheard of compared to any other crypto game out there. This is nothing that matches, and there's nothing that has the same kind of accessibility on a mobile app, or allows for you to input fiat so easily. It's very, very non-coiner friendly, I would say, which is awesome. And it's all linked to the EOS blockchain, which is really cool. It's not something you see in a lot of apps, right?
Now,
So,
Recourier mentioned like he doesn't. Most people don't know the vision that it's gonna build into. Is that something that you kind of see as well
I
at the
mean, I
beginning, or
see a
was that?
metaverse, right? Like, I mean, not initially, I kind of just saw a bunch of boxes with, sort of green and blue, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it kind of took me a minute to start figuring it out, but sort of once I did, and once I really saw the potential, and like that the map is basically just a template for where we can go from here, it really opened my eyes. So the next thing that they're doing is they're planning on doing property development. They're building City Hall right now in Civic Center. So that'll be the first building in Upland. And then once that's complete, it sounds like they're going to allow us to build our own buildings and then start applying for business licenses and running businesses within Upland.
What does
As
that mean?
well as,
Like, for me, I'm a complete noob. Like, what does that mean, running a business within Upland?
so the first three businesses are going to be cafes, which will offer chatting and the ability to purchase and sell apparel. And there will also be NFT explorers, NFT like galleries, basically, where they sell Upland avatars. And then there's one more. Recourier, what is it? I can't remember.
I think nurseries are supposed to be pretty early on because they want you to be able to, do your landscaping and stuff. So that's what the nurseries are gonna be able to.
So you could be a horticulturist and grow your own trees
yeah.
and bushes and that kind of thing, and then sell those to players who want to upgrade their properties.
Yeah. So there's some guys already like building stuff and figuring some things out and testing out what they want. Planning to open nurseries and stuff. So I think that it's really broad. Like they say, yeah, it can be an NFT gallery, but as you guys know, an NFT can be anything. So an NFT gallery can be a place to go buy or sell NFTs. That could be anything. So I think
for me, like I want to have the hall of OS1 in Upland, right? Like and have my GPK like laid out, right? So.
Yeah. So it could be that, or it could be some 3D NFT, or it could be, you know, anything you want. And then eventually they're going to have cars that'll come in, and they're going to do branding with partners. So you'll be able to have like an actual, I don't know, let's say for example, Mercedes in the game, you know, and they want to do all that stuff. And that's the thing that, you know, everybody gets stuck on the idea of cryptocurrencies specifically. And they're like, well, if I'm buying this UpX, what exchange do I go to trade it? And what this and what that? And it's like, no, you're kind of missing the point. And they're like, well, all these people have like millions of UpX. And it's like, no, they don't. They have a ton of properties. And then as soon as they get enough UpX for the next property, they buy it. The goal is to get the properties, to get the NFTs, because you can then later sell those properties to fiat if you want to fiat out, but also you're going to be able...
And how is that going to be done, Recourier?
So with Tilia, it's the same people that do the fiat in and fiat out for Second Life. So Second Life has Linden's. I'm not in Second Life, but I've heard guys talking about it. So Second Life has Linden's, and they go in and out with the Linden.
Right?
What's that?
Linden dollars, I think they're called.
Something like that, yeah.
And I also believe that this is proprietary, that Tilia has never allowed anyone else to use this system before, and this would be the first time that any other third party would be using it. Is that correct?
I can't say for certain, but that sounds right to me.
That's what I heard anyways. So
yeah, if you go to Tilia's website, they're already using like screen grabs and stuff from Upland. So I think it's just a matter of getting all of the technology in place to make it happen. But last update that I heard, which was very recently, is they're hoping that that'll all be in place in the next 2 months.
So for you, like, how would you describe Upland to someone who has never ever seen it or heard of it and has absolutely no clue what the fuck we're talking about right now?
Yeah, so like me.
I would describe Upland as what it's going to be, because right now technically it's in an open beta, so they don't have the full thing developed yet. Essentially what I see it as is a NFT exchange built into a 3D world that's kind of like Second Life or something. So Crypto Voxels is kind of doing that, but it's kind of got that like 8-bit look, right? This is going to take that 3D and bring it to something that's much more updated to like what you can do now, like
visually.
Augmented reality, yeah, like augmented reality, that kind of stuff. So so you're going to be able to walk around and exist in this 3D world, but it's going to be a giant NFT marketplace.
Now explain that part to me.
So it's cross-chain marketplace, and that's what's super cool. Are you familiar with like wrapped crypto, like wrap Bitcoin on Ethereum chain or whatever?
That's how they did the CryptoKitties, right?
Yeah. So basically, how that wrapping works is just whatever coin comes in on its native chain, and then it goes into a smart contract. That smart contract takes those coins and then gives you 1-for-1 wrapped Bitcoin, which is just just a place.
It acts as like an escrow, right?
Yeah. So it's a place.
Contract.
So it's a placeholder on Ethereum, let's say, and then the Bitcoin sits in that smart contract, and then you trade that wrapped Bitcoin around. Doesn't matter. This guy gets it. That guy gets it. Fractions of it. Whatever. When they're ready to take that out, whoever ended up with it, they take it out. They put in an address on the native Bitcoin chain, and it comes out of that smart contract and it goes out there. So that's how it's done with a fungible currency. You can do the same thing with a non-fungible token, essentially, and that's what they have. So if you have an NFT on EOS or on Ethereum or on Wax or whatever, it'll come into that custodial smart contract that they build, and then they will make an Upland NFT that has all the same attributes. It's the same basic kind of thing, and then it goes into Upland, and the NFT that sits on its native chain in the smart contract, and then that NFT exists in Upland for a day, week, a year, whatever. People hang it on their walls, people trade it, people do whatever they want with it. And then when somebody wants to take that value out of Upland, they just say, hey, I want to withdraw this back to the native chain, to a wallet on the native chain, and they do that. And then they can do whatever they want with that on its native chain. They can sell that NFT on, OpenSea or Atomic Hub or whatever the marketplace is on any given chain. So it acts as a atomic cross-chain NFT exchange built into a 3D world.
Okay, now I get that and it sounds really cool, but what's the supply? What's the max supply of these NFTs? Like, I get it, so that it's mapped to a physical location, which in real life you have piece of like our continent, which is a finite space. But in the digital world, could I just build an infinite condo building and have as much space as I want? Like, how is that sort of handled?
Well, each prop is one of one, right? I mean, Upland actually has some of the most unique NFTs out there, because each prop is in an individual address. So each prop is different.
So there is a max supply of them?
Well, it's the entire globe.
Certain areas. Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
based on real life. So right now it's just in San Francisco, and they're opening up New York City. There's just a little bit of New York City that's opened up. But yeah, it's the entire globe. So the max supply is all of the acreage or hectares or whatever, it depends where you're from, of Earth. So they got plenty of room to grow.
Yeah.
And for the rarity, I mean, it just depends on where you want to own, right? I mean, for me, like, I see San Francisco as being the first and sort of the OG city, and prices there will be significantly higher, I would imagine, than any other city initially, because it'll sell out. I mean, it's already, what, 43% sold out?
Yeah.
Something like that. And I think it'll sell out a lot faster than New York, because it has collections, and that's kind of how they've made it, so that, because they don't want New York to just bloom and blow up and then take away from San Francisco, right? So I think they'll just kind of keep cycling that. So then once San Francisco reaches almost full capacity, then they'll put the priority on New York, right? And right now New York is based, so it's like they send new players there, and there's actually a system where people with less UPX or less experience actually get cheaper zones to play in than the whales do. Because like, I went to New York and I was paying like 17K UPX minimum per property as a director, right? So and I think there's significantly cheaper properties available for the lower classes.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're targeting just south of San Francisco to open up in an area called Daly City, and then South San Francisco, and then they're going to open up Brooklyn after Manhattan's fully open. So they're opening up Manhattan in 5 stages based on how sold out San Francisco is, and then after Manhattan, they'll do some Brooklyn, some Daly City, and they're very careful to not like offer more than the economy can support, the in-game economy. So they're trying to grow it organically and not put too much out there.
So when you say 43% sold, Mike, in San Francisco, does that mean that when it hits 100, there's no more properties left to buy?
It just means that now you're working on rural areas versus like downtown or like central San Francisco, right? So like basically like you said, like Daly City isn't even developed yet. Nothing north of the bridge is developed yet. There's no Oakland, right? So there's still plenty of areas around San Francisco. It's just that San Francisco in and of itself will be fairly populated, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And when's the timeline so that we can see the digital world, like go into Decentraland or crypto voxels? Is that somewhere else soon, or?
That's kind of the question that we're all kind of asking.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely going to happen at some point soon, and this building is kind of the first step to that. And I think once they'll start to do a lot of prop dev, and then maybe we'll start to see sort of that 3D realm start to happen. But yeah, we don't have any kind of solid timeline on that at all.
Okay. Did you guys see those hotels that were put out? There was like some kind of hotel pamphlets that were out there. I saw it on Atomic Hub, and I was like, should I buy this? I don't know what it got me, or was it just a pamphlet? I don't know.
Yeah, that's from this guy Skywalker. He it seems like maybe you know the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a Skywalker thing, and if you're familiar with the wax space, you're probably familiar with Skywalker, and it doesn't need any further explanation. One of the projects that's it's on Atomic Hub, and it's like a verified one, is Upland Fan Art.
Okay.
And that one's been pretty good. It's got a lot of traction, and basically one of the guys started it up, and he got verified, and then he's working with all these different digital artists to make any kind of different NFT
project, right?
Yeah. So thank me later. Yep, he started it up, and then he has a bunch of artists that are making all kinds of different stuff, and some people are making things that are like particular to a neighborhood. One guy, Verthus, is making he's taking a llama and then putting them in like dressed up as certain jobs, and then they're calling it Upland jobs, and he sells that. And there's all kinds of different art that's coming out. Some is more like just meant to be art. Some is more meant to be more tied into the game and more fun.
Like the tone to tone, like cars,
yeah.
and
yeah.
his brewery vans and stuff. And
yeah. So there's like a ton of stuff, and then there's guys that like Upland Action News is Left House does that. He's a big name in the space, and every episode that he puts out a little NFT for that episode, and there's all kinds of little stuff going on with that. So
just curious, I go to Crypto Slam once in a while, and where would Upland rank, do you think, in the top transactions per day?
They've been running at number 2 below Splinterlands pretty consistently.
On DApp Radar.
On
DApp Radar, yeah. So that's where they've been. Several thousand unique players per day, and then more than that per week.
So, Mike, would that be higher than GPK? And
so that's the question, right? Like, what kind of sales do you think like Upland does on an average day, Recourier?
Oh, geez, I don't even know. I know they have over 170 directors, and some of the directors. So directors is $1 million UpX, which is $1,000 and but then some of the directors have like 50 million UpX. So, you know, it's hard to know. I mean, I'm sure they've had many hundreds of thousands of US dollars come into the game, maybe millions. I'm not really sure.
It'd be interesting to see like what a daily volume for that would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it goes up and down because they have all of these events and different stuff, and then like when a part of New York opens, people will go in and they'll spree buy as much as they can. So then that day, big peak, right? Because it's so fast and so easy to fiat in. You just go, you click the property you want, and then if you're short on UpX, they're just like, hey, how do you want to get more UpX? Do you want to get it through the App Store? Do you want to get it with a credit card? Do you want to get it with crypto? Do you want to get it with
Google
PayPal?
Pay,
Yeah.
whatever you want. You want to pay whatever, you can do that. pretty much.
Yeah.
With
So
except for wax.
yeah, maybe eventually. But I mean, the thing is, the way I see it is where the big value is going to come in and out of the game is once they get the full NFT integration. Because yeah, I bought $100 worth of Upix today, but you can have really nice NFTs that are worth thousands of dollars or whatever, and that'll slide in and out of the game really easily. And that's where the transition of value, I think, is going to be. People buying NFTs in the game and then bringing it out, bringing it back in, trading, selling it. It'll work just like an exchange.
So here's a loaded question. How do you feel about not owning your private keys?
So it's not great, but so they want to make that a possibility, and that's on the roadmap to make it a possibility. And the way that they've described how it's done, and it's all encrypted, and that they don't really have the private keys themselves. You know, it's all right, but
I don't have them either.
Yeah. So
like, who has them?
Yeah. Well, so they can't. The way it's been described is they can't directly read the private key. It's encrypted to them as well.
Yeah.
So they want to make it available to everybody, but they are trying to go through all of the legal hoops, because if people start pulling UPX out and then sending it to an exchange, and then it can be speculated on in an exchange, then that loses them the ability to move NFTs in and out, because now that UPX is a speculated crypto, and it's not just a utility token for inside of the game. So that's what they're doing. They're trying,
like, as soon as we get our keys, we can move at UPX. Like, it's they have to come up with a system where we can't use UPX, or make it so that it's available on exchanges and legal to be available on exchanges before they can really do that, right?
Right. Or they have to get a whole crap ton of licenses in place, which take time. So basically what they're saying is like, yes, absolutely, this is our intention. This is where we want to get. We want you to be able to move stuff, move UPX in and out. Like, you won't be able to move the properties in and out because the properties don't follow an NFT standard that's on the EOS chain. So it's its own, Upland wrote its own NFT standard for the actual properties themselves. But all the other NFTs that you can buy in NFT galleries will be able to move.
Right, because they're not actually tokens, right? They're RAM-based NFTs, kind of like Wizards.1 was, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know the technical details exactly of how it's different. I just know that they've described that it doesn't, those particular property NFTs don't subscribe to the EOS standards that are out there.
Yeah,
so,
they're not D-good, they're not simple assets, right?
More atomic.
Yeah, because like even on EOS, like if I go look at my EOS account, I can't see the NFTs there. Oh, okay. Whereas like,
so I guess that means that
EOS NFTs I can.
So I guess that means that at some point, if it gets to that part in their business, you may be able to convert it so that it's tradable in the marketplace outside of Upland, but who knows, right?
Yeah,
I think that's the goal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So all of the, I don't know, I guess I would call them loose NFTs. Those are all going to be tradable. They're going to be able to come in and out. I think it's just the property NFTs themselves are not necessarily going to be done in the same way, because all of the properties are actually geotagged to the real world locations. And when it says like this property's 30 up squares, they have a geotag for every single up square in the game. And then that property comprises 30 of those up squares. And then that's how it builds that NFT or SFT or whatever type of token or whatever thing it is. It's a collection of geotagged data for the property. So that's like, until somebody on EOS builds a NFT based on geotag property collections, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, what would happen with that or how long that would happen, but everything else is going to exist in the game. And I think all of the value of the other NFTs are going to overcome the value of like the actual properties. Like in crypto voxels, like, okay, maybe the properties are worth whatever, but how many NFTs are in the crypto voxels universe that those are the things of value, the things that you can move in and out and you can buy and you can do all that stuff with. So that's where the value is going to be. It's kind of like saying, on an exchange, on a cryptocurrency exchange, you're not worried about moving the exchange software somewhere. You're worried about moving your crypto somewhere. So I think that's what's going to happen a lot with Upland. The NFTs that exist in the world, aside from the properties themselves, are where the value is going to be, and the ability to move that in and out and trade that, and all that stuff.
Cool.
So if I were to say, what would be the what you're looking forward to in this? I'll ask Mike first. Like, you've been in this for a while, so what's the next step? Would be like, okay, awesome. I this is gonna kick ass now.
Well, I mean, like, I obviously need a cafe, right? Because Block Shop needs to sell Upland gear. And then
let's talk about that though. Like, what do you envision there? And I know you spoke about it earlier a little bit.
Well, with the cafes, like, they said that any cafe owner will be allowed to sell apparel in game, right? Cool. So what I'm thinking that means is that all apparel purchases will be done within Upland, and there won't actually be any outside sources for official Upland apparel or officially registered Upland apparel, I guess I should say. And so I think that's really cool, and that'll kind of lead people to want to play around in Upland and see what's there and kind of explore and stuff, right? Which I think will be really rad. And then the other thing, obviously, I would love to do is to have a gallery and to be able to display all my way too many NFTs.
I may rent a space in that gallery, but
yeah,
for sure. I'll definitely be offering leaseholder options for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
100%.
How about yourself?
What about you, Recourier?
So I have this blog or whatever called Upland Uncovered, and I'm going to set up like an office, like an old newspaper office for that. And I kind of envision that blog existing both inside Upland and outside Upland at the same time. So, sometimes I'm talking about like, hey, this is the technology that's going on, or this is the update in the game. And then other times I'm like, here's an interview with an Uplander and talking about what they're doing inside of the game. So I see it blurring the lines between talking about the game and existing in the game. And I want it to be an actual news source in the game. So if you want to know what's going on in Upland, here it is, oh, this new business got opened up. All right, here's a business spotlight on what that business is and what neighborhood they're in and what's their address in Upland, kind of do both those things. And then I'm also envisioning another type of spot where it might be like a collectibles shop or a comic book shop or something like that, where instead of going to Atomic Hub, if you want to go get something to hang up in your Upland house and then go through the onboarding of that, I'll just have a bunch of stuff there that is, you can get it and go hang it in your Upland house or whatever. But the other thing that I think is super cool, which they're talking about doing, is having escrow of real life things, and then they'll build an Upland NFT for that. So why not open up a comic book shop, right? I've got some comic books from when I was a kid. I bet a bunch of people have some comic books in their
I
basement.
have a bunch of cards and comics and all sorts of stuff that I could like VRIL and digitize and then
right.
sell
And
like real versions of with NFT links and stuff. That would be
yeah.
really cool.
And that's the thing, like in real life, you know, there are not a lot of comic book shops left around, and it's not so easy to figure out a way to move this around. And if you've got a bunch of guys that are in this game and are like, I like this comic book, I like that comic book, and you know it's in escrow with Upland, you can buy and sell it in the game. And then if you're like, you know what, I really want to have that thing in my house, you just trade in your NFT to the Upland escrow and they'll send it to you. So I think that part of having a real life physical object tied to an NFT in Upland that you can redeem for the real life object at any time is a really super cool idea.
So here's a question. How do we incentivize new players to come in without them having to spend a bunch of money just to play Upland? Like, how do we get people stoked on Upland without reaching into their wallets first?
That's tough. I did write a story about that and like, here are some options to do that. But right now, because of the way it's worked out, a lot of people are flipping properties for profits. So people have gone through and bought up all the cheap properties. And their plan to open up Daly City in Brooklyn, and then they have something called the Fair Start Act that is supposed to set aside a certain amount of cheap properties for new Uplanders. That is an attempt to address that and give people the opportunity to work their way into the game, get more collection bonuses because they can get 3 or 4 properties for 4,500 upix instead of right now where like they can barely get 1.
So something I think we could easily do is implement some mini games, kind of like treasure hunts, but something that doesn't require you to have a bunch of props so that you can move around easily, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be dice, it could be Space Invaders, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
And you play those games and then you earn UPX, right?
So that's one of the business licenses. They're going to open in-game arcades, and then third party developers are going to be able to.
So that was the third one. That was the third one I was missing. Yeah.
I think arcades. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. Then a third party developer can put probably any EOS game that they have right now into Upland. So then you cruise around Upland and you go into an arcade and you play whatever EOS games are out there right now, or they could invent something else for Upland. You know, that's the whole thing. Like once this all gets built out, they're going to take the goal, really, the big picture is like anything in the real world plus anything in the blockchain world will all exist inside of Upland at the same time. And you have free access to that without having to know how to handle the intricacies of blockchain. You don't need to know about private keys and hardware wallets and you know, hex addresses or any of that stuff. You just get into the world with you know, a sign in, and they have a 2FA and they have some security features, and then you just exist in this world, and the whole time you're making blockchain transactions and you don't have to go through the pain points of blockchain doing it. It just feels like you're playing and having a good time.
Yeah, the mobile experience is sort of unparalleled in the space, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's going to be banks in Upland. So you're going to be able to go into Upland and participate in the DeFi space without having to know what gas fees are or how to stake or anything. You just go do it in the game. It's everything. It takes the entire crypto sphere.
You mean I can farm yam in Upland?
I don't know, maybe if a bank owner offers that, or maybe they offer the similar idea. You'll be able to get mortgages on properties. You'll be able to put your property up as collateral to get more UPX, to buy more properties, all that stuff. Yeah. Cool.
Very cool. Yeah. Property lending, that'll be rad. I could definitely use some UPX loans for my properties. That would be nice.
Yeah.
Have a little liquidity.
And you'll probably be able to put up other NFTs as collateral. You know, if you got a whole bunch of cards or something, you just put that up and they'll give you a bunch of UpX. And then as you earn on your property investments, you pay back and you get your collateral back. So if you've got a whole bunch of NFTs that you want to keep, you don't want to get rid of, but they're not doing anything for you now, you can use those as collateral for investment and make money off your NFTs.
So cool.
Very cool.
All right. Well, where can we get a hold of anything that we need to see from you, Recourier? Where can people get a hold of you?
So my blog is Upland Uncovered. It's all one word. So uplanduncovered.com. And then I also cross-link that to my other blog, recouriercrypto.com. And all the Upland specific stuff I talk about there. And then I talk about all kinds of different stuff on my other blog, Recourier Crypto. So I talk about wax there and other NFT things. And you know, I got a piece on the Ethereum 2.0 rollout. I try and kind of check out all the different stuff that's coming up. And, you know, so that's where you can find me and my stuff. And then find me in Upland. I'm Recourier.
We'll throw those links in the description for you.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that was a good show. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a great day, guys.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.